Peace, 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 kings and queens. Peace, kings and queens. And on behalf of the Podnas, we welcome you to yet another conversation live. It is I, your boy Tiz. But before we get into today's show, as always, our live show is going down this Sunday at 9:30 p.m. It's called You Didn't Ask Us, and it's the show where we speak on random topics. Random videos and just give our opinions on it, even though nobody asked us for it. We still give it anyway, just as a sample of what you can expect from that show. In case you're interested, check out these clips here, and then we're gonna get started with today's show. Right, what you said?
They ain't said chicken was good.
Yeah, chicken is good. Chicken is damn good, ain't it, y'all?
Not all of it.
Now, you know what? That's one stereotype that I ain't really that mad at. Like, chicken is good as hell. I don't know if anybody else has ever realized how good chicken is, but it is good. I'm just saying.
I don't know about the rest of you chicken-consuming humans that's constantly eating chicken every single day. But
y'all other folk, but you know, as for me and my house,
I mean, just in case.
I'm just saying, chicken pretty goddamn good, man.
Chicken good. Like chicken is good.
Chicken is good, ain't it? That boy good. That boy good.
that boy is good.
That chicken good. I got this off of Twitter. You know, 6 brown chicks. So I want.
bro.
Yeah, you already know. We're gonna give our opinion on it, and we're gonna get let the audience give their opinion, and we're gonna hopefully help somebody in the process. So we're gonna give somebody some wisdom that they are so desperately seeking. So let's do that. All right, here we go. Woman I met online doesn't appear to be into me or anything I'm about. I'm handsome, got a job, etc. We've had sex a few times, but she never wants to cuddle or relax afterwards. Her, my soul is already dead. I'm just waiting for my body to catch up.
Say what?
What to do? As our resident person that's expert on all things occult and shit, Pat, what should she do? What should he do? What's happening?
Get her some therapy. Yeah,
okay.
get her some therapy immediately, and put her on suicide watch.
Yeah, I ain't never heard no shit like this. My soul is already dead, and I'm waiting for my body to catch up.
I told you that bitch crazy.
That means she's done some shit in her life.
You a new one, shit.
Okay.
There's more women in the world than men. Piece her ass out.
All right, I'm gonna be the one to ask it. I know somebody else on the replay gang or somebody gonna want to ask this, right? How was the sex?
That's why I don't know.
Like, what is sex with a soulless person like? Isn't that like a zombie or something like that?
Fuck me! Fuck me! Fuck me!
Empty husky.
Waiting for the body to catch her. So
right. So the body's alive, but the soul is not there. So like, what is that like?
She's quiet. So she's like,
oh,
Like a sex doll.
That necrophilia.
Like a real sex doll.
yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, that necrophilia when you want to have something alive and shit. That weirdo. I'm not that weird. I'm sorry if it's somebody out there that's into that. My bad. That's my fault.
I think that's illegal. That's
you,
their fault.
you do whatever you man, but man, it'd be a group or something that be popped up. Hey man, don't be talking about it. Hey, look, man, you do what you do, but I'm gonna say this.
You keep that necromancer stuff over there away from me. You know
wife, if you ain't never got no soul, then just go ahead and let me know, and we gonna have to go take you to a voodoo witch doctor or something, get you a soul. Cause I don't want that. I want no soulless.
Nigga said keep that $40.
I don't want no soulless cool new. Keep that $40. All right. So What's good, my people? What is good, my people? Peace to all the kings and queens. As always, I am 1/3 of the Podnas, your boy Tiz, and I am super excited and glad that you have joined me for this conversation. First off, welcome to any new viewers. Welcome to the Pod Squad. If you like anything you hear or experience today, feel free to subscribe and make your Pod Squad membership official so you don't miss any more content that we release. Also, like the video while you're here. It helps us tremendously, and it's a free way for you to show support. Also, if you feel the information you receive from myself, from the chat, and or panel members is something that can be helpful or something that someone else may be interested in, please feel free to share this with others so that, you know, we can pass along all of this information and continue to support Black love. Lastly, and next, and a special welcome to the Pod Squad OGs and recent members who are joining live or by replay. Y'all are our motivation. And on behalf of me and the other two partners, we could not do this without the love and encouragement that y'all give us. So thank you, thank you, and thank you. And to those people who would like to support financially, you can find that information below. And you can also look for merch and any of that stuff at thepodnas.com. So now, this live will probably not be too long because y'all know I like to say what I got to say, allow others to speak their piece, and then let the doors of the church open. But I do recognize that I don't have all the answers, but if you do have questions, if you have insight to share, or if you have an alternative thought or method to something that I suggest, please join the panel using the link pinned to the chat, speak out in the chat, or sound off in the comment section below, and I will respond. That way, this is a dialogue where I am discussing these things with you as opposed to talking at you. Now we got all that out the way. Let's pretty much get into today's conversation. Right on, Danny. Take notes, man. And if you got some notes to add, man, we take wisdom from everywhere, man. So, you know, feel free to jump in and add. So this is basically a continuation of the marriage trilogy that I started last week. I started last week with the 5 things a man should know if he wants to get married. And that kind of set the foundation for meeting and beginning a relationship with a woman that you would like to one day marry. So if you missed it, go back, check that out. It's not like a prerequisite that you have to have seen that video to follow this one, but it does help kind of ground things before you get to this point. So anyway, if you're thinking of getting married and you've already been with your woman for enough time to get engaged and now you are ready to do so, you're ready to get engaged, or you're starting that process of proposing, etc., what should you do? This is basically where I found myself back at the end of, I believe it was 2012, and just going into that period. I had been with my then girlfriend for about 6.5 years. We had been through, you know, tons of ups and downs, but we were still pretty much committed to staying together and being a couple. So I feel like we had gotten to a good place at that point. We had kind of shaken off a lot of our initial kinks and things that were like holding us up from being successful. And we were kind of hitting a good stride. And due to some conversations that we had, I could tell that she was finally ready to get married officially. Despite me wanting to marry her since pretty much we had our first date, the moment of truth was now here. And she was actually on that same page to make it official. And I had to now put up or shut up. I had thought about that moment for the past 6 years, but had not really done a lot of the prep work needed. So I went into that New Year holiday with a mission. I had to figure out how to get ready for this next step. I hadn't planned for a ring, for the emotional shifts that come with proposing. I hadn't prepared for the stresses that was going to come with being engaged. As I came out of that holiday season, I entered the final months toward our 7th year anniversary of being a couple, and I knew I had a lot of work to do to kind of initiate this next step in our relationship. So today I'm going to share the 5 things that helped me to not only successfully get through that phase and survive it, but also these are 5 things that I didn't necessarily master or do well during my engagement, but these are more the things that I learned
and that I now know work because of my failures and successes. I have to say this before we start. I am not a therapist, a counselor, or any type of mental health professional of any kind. My advice is not a one-size-fits-all guidebook. Every person is different, which means every relationship is different. But what I am is a Black man who has made a lot of mistakes, but I have successfully courted, shacked up with, proposed to, and married the queen of my dreams. And despite my many failures, I have learned and listened and experienced and observed enough to put together a cool little toolkit that allows me to have a high success rate as a spouse to my wife. And because of this, I feel it's my obligation to share it with others. So hopefully y'all will learn from my mistakes instead of having to make your own. Hey, Larry, peace, queen, peace. Now, with all that being said, the first thing you should know if you are ready to propose or are now engaged is to, number one, make sure you have healed or begun the process of healing your past trauma, especially family and relationship based, through professional help. Yes, this is the same one as number one from the last list, but I feel it is that important. Anytime you are about to begin a new stressful time in your life, you always kind of handle it better and can get through it easier if you have already processed or kind of resolved the pain and trauma from the last experience. So you don't want to be dragging a bunch of bags into this new stress and then pick up new weight and then buckle. That's why you see a lot of people who may get engaged and they're engaged for like 15, 20, 30 years and they still been engaged. And you're like, oh, well, when the wedding will be? You know, we still fiancés. A lot of times it's because like you're still processing stuff that happened before y'all got engaged, individually and as a couple, and you're still dealing with that. So it's hard to really add anything new because you're still buckling under the pressures of that. That's also why you see a lot of engagements that fail as opposed to even making it to marriage. It's basically those bags do weigh, and that weight does add up, and you're only one person. So don't try to carry all that. Kind of dump some of that before you get into it. It's also one of the biggest steps for me as a man that kind of I feel helped my wife to feel like she was secure and ready enough to go from just shacking up or being boyfriend and girlfriend to officially getting engaged, being my fiance, and then, planning to be my wife. Because I had begun the process of healing my relationship with my mother. I had started the process of healing my issues with my father. I had even talked to him and kind of started that forgiveness path. I had healed from my past relationships that I had before her. And had kind of started to let a lot of those things that I was holding against her based off of those experiences, I had started to let those things go. And I had begun the process of doing what was needed to start to heal the trauma from the transgressions that me and her had done to each other. We had just come off a pretty serious low in the year before that, and our rebound was super strong. And a lot of it was because I had started to actually deal with me and realize that I had a lot of fucked up shit about myself that I needed to really resolve before I could be everything that she needed and that we needed. So yeah, I think that me starting this work, I think is what allowed her to trust and see how serious I was and know that I would be willing to do what it takes to continue to grow and improve our relationship going forward. And I'd be willing to do kind of tackle the hard things that actually are necessary. And I feel like because of that, going into our engagement, we were probably I feel like we had found our best friendship again. And I feel like we were probably in one of the better places of our relationship at that moment. So definitely heal that shit, man. And you need a professional's help. And I say that because personal experience is great, but when you have a professional that has studied that and studied different people and different scenarios and can kind of give you all of the tools, it prepares you better. So instead of just dealing with shit and what's good, last call, but instead of dealing with every screw with the butter knife, you got a drill, you got different bits, you got a Phillips head, you got a a torque wrench, you got, you know what I mean? You got a whole supply kit. So no matter what type of screw you got, you can actually be effective. And I think that's one thing that I definitely learned, because I didn't grow up with that. Growing up, it was kind of looked at like professional help is like, you're crazy, something wrong with you. So it's definitely something that I had to become more comfortable with. But throughout my life, I had different experiences with it. And by the time I got to this point, I was ready to kind of like take it seriously and actually apply those tools that I had been given. And it also, by doing this step and getting that professional help, like you actually get a toolkit that helps you with the new stresses that are going to come, because usually you're not just getting tools for that present thing or that past thing. You're usually leaving those experiences with a toolkit for the future. Like, okay, so when these types of things happen in the future, you can deal with that, which makes it a lot easier to add on new stresses that are going to inevitably come when you get engaged and eventually married. So number one, like I said, make sure you have healed, or at least start the process of healing your past trauma, especially the ones that are like based around family or relationship issues, because those are going to be the ones that end up showing up most prevalent in random moments in your relationship with your significant other. So yeah. Number two, for those people who are ready to propose or ready to get engaged, the ring is the thing. It's cliche, but the ring does matter, and it's not always in the ways that we think. So the first part of this is, I did not do the first part of this well. When I was finally at a place where I was going to propose, I was not in the best place in life. I was in an associate's degree program, working a part-time gig, and I didn't have much in the way of savings. I was barely helping with the bills, and I was entering my externship program for my degree. So I had nothing saved for a ring at this point. And pretty much I ended up having to scramble around and save up enough in a very short amount of time to get anything more than something out of a Cracker Jack box. If I had been smart, I would have started saving for a ring as soon as I had the inkling that I wanted to get married, instead of waiting until I started planning the proposal itself. That way, no matter what ring I got, I would either have enough to buy it, or I would have enough to buy it and have money left over that I could use for other things that were inevitably going to be coming along with, a proposal and an engagement. So I definitely would say, the first part of step two, the ring is the thing, is to start saving for a ring when you know you have marriage aspirations. That way, whenever you're ready to propose, all you have to do is select and buy the ring, and it makes that whole process where you're already going to be feeling anxious, nervous, excited. You're going to have a ball of emotions going on. The last thing you want to do is to be adding any more stresses to that. So you want to kind of have the financial part of the ring taken care of ahead of time. So start saving as soon as you know you want to get married, not when you want to propose, but when you know that this could be the one day. I think this might, let me start putting a little something to the side every paycheck. It could be $50 a paycheck, and you just keep putting it to the side. And then that way it might be a year down the road, but at least you have something ready to go in by way of finance for the ring. A lot of people say you want to have, I think it's like, 3 months salary or something like that saved up for a ring or something like that. But I won't say it's any specific money amount, because every woman is different. So the ring that they gonna want is gonna be specific to them. But I will say, start saving something. Have you a little ring nest egg ready by the time you're ready to propose. The second part of this step, the ring is the thing, is also knowing your woman very well, so that the ring you get not only fits her cost expectation, but more importantly, her vision or her personal style. My wife has taught me, with her infinite wisdom, that all women have a distinct style and way that they want their ring and jewelry to look, whether it be yellow gold, platinum, tattoos, canvas and hemp rope, diamond, sapphires, her birthstone, whatever it is. Women have a general way that they like to engage with jewelry. So you want to know your woman. So when you pick a ring, it not only accents her personality, but it also will be something that she can wear with her other accessories. I didn't know that was a big of a thing, but I listened to my wife in the years and months leading up to me wanting to propose. So by this point, I think I did this second part of the ring is a thing kind of well. I had really listened and observed and paid attention to like, okay, she doesn't really like flashy stuff. So I know not to get something that's too gaudy or over the top. She kind of wears this color schemes in her jewelry. So I need to get something that will universally go with all of that, no matter what, it won't clash. I know that she kind of likes certain things that are thoughtful. So I had to make sure whatever ring I got, it had a story to it, or it had like something that symbolized us involved in the design of it. I would say it's two ways to go with it. You can either first do what I did and do the observational method, or you can have a talk with your wife about rings, but do it when you're still kind of in that phase of we want to be together. Could be the one, not all the way sure yet, but let's talk about these things now. So talking about the ring we had actually done earlier, and I kind of understood like the general gist. So when I was ready to buy the ring, I had an idea. So you can either use observational method where you just observe her general personal style over time and just kind of have an idea of what looks like it makes sense for her and what she wears. Or you can just have that conversation with her and just get specifics, but at a time when y'all are not, there's no pressure. So there's no, well, I got to get this right. Or she feels like, okay, we're talking about this, so the proposal's about to come. Like, do it at a time when y'all are kind of in that we're together, but we haven't made it that. We haven't said, yes, we are going to get married. Like, kind of do it in that boyfriend and girlfriend fun time where it's no pressure and where you can just kind of store up that information for later. So once you're ready, you got that in the back of your mind and you got that note. Just makes things a lot easier. So despite my limited budget at the time, by doing this, I was able to select a ring that matched my wife's personality and meant more to her than rock size and clarity. That was not the most spectacular ring for what I also wanted to get for her. So we were able to, later on that year, as I had started my actual job after my degree had finished, I was able to, save up and get her a better ring and upgraded her. But at that point, I just allowed her to pick her own. But I definitely know that if I had paid $1 million for her ring and she still didn't really like it or it didn't fit her, I feel like I would have been devastated, and it would have been something that I've seen people in my family, like women in my family who are married, who never wear their wedding ring, even though it's a very beautiful ring. It's just not what they like. It doesn't go with anything they wear. It clashes and they don't wear it. So I definitely am proud to have taken the time to like invest and think about getting a ring that actually made sense for my wife, that she is proud to wear with everything, and she doesn't want to take it off. So yeah, the ring is the thing, guys. So that's number 2. Peace, beautiful Bernice. Peace, queen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Agents giving you hell. Daddy, don't let them give you hell, brother. You give them heaven when they give you hell, champ. So that was the first 2 steps. Get professional help in solving and getting through your traumas. And then the ring is the thing. Step 3 was key for me, and it's old school, so it may not work for everybody, especially in today's climate, but to me, it helps a lot. And it's to make sure that you are cool with, get along with, and have her family and parents' blessings before proposing. I feel like this step is one I did well with. So I actually succeeded at something on the first try with this one. But it came organically. But I feel like by genuinely getting to know and learning her family throughout our relationship before it was time to propose, I feel like once I was ready to do so, there was nothing from her side of the family or mine that would be a hindrance or give her apprehension to say no. I've seen where, a person's dad hates the husband that's proposing, and the wife and the woman be like, well, nah, I'm not gonna marry you. Or, it becomes a conflict in those times leading up to the actual wedding itself, because you went into it with people not really feeling it. And it's old school. It definitely is. But for me, I feel like having her mother and her father both be cool with me and have already started to consider me like a son before that moment was huge. It gave me an advocate as I was coming to propose. So as she's, maybe even talking through her cold feet, I don't know that she did, but I know that I had people in her family that loved me and were on my side, and I had independent relationships outside of her that, when just helps grease the skids a little bit as I was going into that phase. It also, whenever we had a disagreement, which inevitably will come, from what I've seen, I was raised by women. I'm raised in a family that is woman dominant. There's a lot of them. They outnumber us a lot. But I feel like I've seen most of the women in my family, they talk to family members for advice when they go through disputes and disagreements with their mate. And my wife is no different. So I feel like by me having relationships with her family that were independent of her, and like having their blessings and kind of being cool with them already, when she does seek that advice, instead of her family just completely taking her side and just giving her one-sided advice, they're able to give level-headed and even-sided advice because they know me, they know my character, they've experienced me, they kind of have experienced us as a couple for a while, and they are able to, kind of have my back as well and be looking out for us as opposed to one of us. So definitely help. And then another reason you want to do this is it makes your wedding planning tremendously easier, especially when you get to the invite list. You don't have to worry about leaving people out. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, we can't let Uncle Timmy come because he don't like, I think the fact that we really took time and invested in merging our families beforehand when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, just because we felt like if we're going to be together, those are extensions of us and we want each other to know them and be a part of that. I feel like because we did that, it made inviting people so we just can invite everybody. And it was a lot less stressful as opposed to having to kind of pick and choose those conversations you got to now have with people about why they can't come and who don't like who. It was just super easy. So definitely, if you can, if you are willing to do so, and if you're not too new school to do it, get her parents' blessing. That's the last thing you want to do, is be walking down the aisle looking at a parent that hates your guts. And they will hate your guts if you ain't talked to them a lot of time. A lot of parents, especially as parents of our generation, and I'm talking about the 35 and up club, our parents are still very much have a lot of those old traditions, and they believe in that stuff, and it does matter as far as gaining a lot of respect and just kind of having them on your side. So do get the family on your side and know the family independent of your girlfriend or your future wife when you're about to propose. So yeah. Anybody in the chat have anything they want to add to any of the three I've said so far before I keep going? I don't want to just speed through this or talk through this, you know what I mean? Because again, I'm a rookie in this game of marriage and relationships. So yeah, I definitely don't want to block somebody else's wisdom if they have it to share. I'm gonna take that silence as we just touching and agreeing that it's fine to just move on and we all just fine with where we at then. Well, all right then. Let the church keep going. All right. So step 4. So we got step 1 through 3. So far, we got step 1, heal your trauma. Step 2, the ring is a thing. And step 3, get the family's blessings and be cool with them before you propose. All right. Thank you, beautiful Bernice. You're a beautiful person for saying that. I appreciate it. Because y'all know I be up here. Y'all know behind this camera, I'm shaking in my boots, but I appreciate that. All right. So step 4. This is probably the most important as far as the proposal itself. The proposal is the key, not the extravagance of it. I have had friends and coworkers and fellas that, I've talked to along the way that were like, they struggled with the proposal because they were so worried about doing it in the most surprise and fantastic way possible. I know a guy who waited so long planning his proposal that he ended up in a huge argument and got broken up with before he can even get to the proposal. I had the ring and everything, was like literally like a week out from doing it. But the moral of the story is the proposal is not for your family. It's not for your friends. It's not for the gram. It's not for YouTube. It's not for the people at a restaurant. It's not to make everybody else cheer and say how great you did. It's for you and your future wife to have this memory together about the time when y'all decided that y'all were going to commit. And I feel like the most important part of the proposal is just to make sure it's heartfelt and that you and her are able to connect emotionally during it. My proposal to my wife was actually, I purposefully was a few minutes late to pick her up from work because I knew this would make her call to see where I was. And then I acted like I was in traffic and was rushing to her, but I was actually pretty close, like around the corner from her job. And then I came barreling around the corner into the parking lot like something was wrong and hopped out the car like it was an emergency. And I ran up to her where she was sitting on a bench outside of her job. And I was like, hey, babe, I'm sorry I'm late, but it's so crazy. And then when she started to look concerned, I just dropped to one knee, poured my heart out to her, and asked her to spend forever with me and allow me to be her husband. And I gave her the ring. And there was no band playing. There was no dolphins jumping in the background. I didn't have a rooftop or helicopter view. It was just me and her, my crazy joke about being an emergency, which she totally understood because at the beginning of our relationship, that was actually a normal way of me coming to see her. And yeah, it was no other people, some special scenery or no grandiose act that was needed. It was just the important part was there. It was me, her, our hearts, and our commitment. And that was all that we needed. And to this day, like I feel like that's a moment we look back on fondly because it was organic to who we were as a couple. It wasn't something that was staged for anybody else. It was like intimate. It was us. And yeah, it made sense for us. So number 4, like make sure you remember the proposal is for y'all. And it just go back to the ring thing, man. Like know your woman by listening and observing. Like I know my woman doesn't like to be put on the spot or be I'll get back to that in 1 second. I had a question. What is that? Larry said, how long have I been married? I have been officially married since 2014. So we have just celebrated our 7-year anniversary in June of this year. And I have been together with my wife for 15 years, also in June of this year. So yeah, I feel like I've been married for 15 years, but it's only been 7. But I've pretty much started living like I was a married man pretty much once we decided to be boyfriend and girlfriend and be together. So yeah, 15 unofficially, 7 officially recognized by America. But yeah. But yeah, man. And I think that those 8 years before, 6 years before we started, 7, years total before we actually got married, I think that definitely helped us because it allowed me to thank you. We tried to stay blessed, man. That's a daily job. And I fail some days and I succeed some days, but overall, she still keep me around. So I'm doing something all right. But yeah, man, just know your woman, man. The best way you're gonna know the best way to propose because you're gonna know her likes, her dislikes, her quirks, and just make it tailored to who she is. Like my wife don't like to be put on the spot and be all out there for a scene, making a scene. So I knew that if I did it in too grandiose of a way, it would embarrass her and she'd be awkward. And I wanted her to feel comfortable just living in that moment and being able to see how much I loved her. So just, tailor it to your wife and it's going to be all right. Don't try to worry about stunting or nothing. The fact that you got a wife and a woman that want to marry you is the stunt. That's the stunt right there. So don't worry about trying to put on a show. Your love may be show stopping, but it is not a show for the world. So just do it for y'all and your proposal will be fine. So yeah, that's number 4. And then number 5, and the last piece I got is begin wedding planning. And this step is a 3-part step here. It's all together. You need to do all 3 kind of simultaneously, but it goes together. Oh, thank you. We think we pretty sweet too. We try. She's the sweet. I'm sour most days, but she makes us sweet. So yeah. Lastly, when you're beginning wedding planning, these 3 parts are the wedding planning that you need to be doing. You've proposed, she said yes, y'all are all lovey-dovey, but now this is the hard part. First thing you need to do is decide what type of wedding you want. Do this in a silo. Just you and her. Don't get no bunch of outside thoughts on it until y'all have already kind of decided on like the basic top 3 things y'all want to do, and then y'all may take outside opinions so you can, do that. But do this just y'all. Decide on the venue and the major aspects. So the venue, who's going to be the one that plans like the food, who's going to be the one that plans the invitation list, who's going to be in charge of decorations. Now for me, it was pretty easy because what we did, we just compromised. So we looked at the list of everything that needed to be done for a wedding, and we looked at each piece, and the only part that we both had a vested interest in was the venue. Outside of that, decorations, who was invited, all of that stuff, I was like, you handle that. I don't care. I just want to marry you. The only part I really cared about was the food. So she let me have a hand. Me and her did that together, and I had helped to make the final decision on the major final courses and stuff, because I was really picky about the food. She was picky about everything else, so I let her do that. So ours was kind of easy because we didn't try to stress it. Peace, Black Anonymous. But yeah, man. So just compromise on everything in that part. Then once you got that, you may not have the specifics down, but at least okay, these are the general ideas we have that we would like to see for our day. And remember, it's y'all day. Yeah, don't argue about stuff that don't matter to you. If she's really set on, I want these type of flowers and I got this color, and you really don't care about the color, it's just something that you want to have a say in, man, let that go. You trying to get married, not trying to plan the best party ever. So at the end of the day, it's about the commitment and about y'all getting married. So compromise on everything. And then once y'all got that compromise done, then you can start to solicit it to the public, and you can, kind of talk to mom and cousins and stuff. Now, this is for if y'all are financing your own wedding. If you got somebody else paying for it, then you might want to have them involved in that initial conversation as well, because they're going to be financing it. But if y'all paying for it yourselves, do all of that stuff yourself. As for me and my wife, our process, like I said, was pretty simple. The venue didn't matter to me at all, but the food did. So for her, it was the opposite. So I picked the food, she picked the venue. We were both happy. The wedding is also not the reception. The wedding is for y'all two. You don't have to have a grand wedding. So if y'all two are both simple people that would like something small and intimate, you don't have to throw something big because you feel like other people would want to experience that, or because you feel like it would look good for pictures or whatever. It's y'all wedding. Y'all are gonna have to live with it, and it's all about y'all. So tailor it to y'all. Do not try to go overboard to impress other people. Me and my wife, we did a destination wedding just because it made it easy for us to know ahead of time the numbers of people who were coming. Because when you say destination and people got to buy plane tickets and book stuff, people will quickly tell you, "Oh, I ain't gonna be able to come. I'll send a gift, or I'll see y'all when y'all get back for the reception or whatever." So we did that. It made the invite list easy. It made knowing the numbers ahead of time easy. And it also cuts costs. Many resorts will do your whole wedding experience for you. And it can also double as a honeymoon. So after the wedding, you can have everybody else go home and y'all stay for an extra week or two and just get your enjoyment in. And that's actually what we did. We had our marriage on the beach. She wanted a beach wedding, so we decided to do it in Jamaica because I wanted to get out the country for the first time at that point, and she wanted to be on the island, because she's from an island country. Her people are from there, so she wanted to get that beach feel. So we did a destination wedding. It cut costs tremendously, and we had a unique wedding experience for ourselves. It was perfectly intimate, but also public enough that it fit. It was just perfect. And we got to have our honeymoon immediately. And the cool part about our honeymoon was that we actually were able to have our bridal and groom party be a part of that experience. You feel me? So while we were there, my best man and his at that time girlfriend, who's now his fiance, and her cousins and my aunt, and we had friends, it was cool. So we were able to really just turn up, have a good time, and then spend like moments alone, but then have our friends still there on the island so we could still kick it with them when we wanted to and just have that group vibe and kind of like that celebratory vibe. So it was just really dope. We got to kind of party all day alone and, you know, sip drinks as a married couple and spend time and just laying around in bed all day and, you know, doing that type of thing and having our little honeymoon vibe. But at night we were able to go out to the club with our friends, you know, and experience the nightlife with our friends. So it was a really dope vibe. So if you were interested in destination weddings, if you can't tell, I'm definitely an advocate. But in general, man, just tailor it to y'all, man. So get that started immediately after proposing. That way, no matter when you get married or when you actually say, okay, now we're ready to start the official planning, you already have that guide, that roadmap and understanding in place. So when you start, you're able to just kind of seamlessly go from thing to thing, and y'all already have a game plan for that. So that way, if new things come up, y'all will be straight. The next piece, cost of the wedding, the finances of the wedding. If you had not been doing so already, like I had not been, this would be a great time to start saving up money and thinking about what this is going to cost. So once you guys settle on the style of the wedding, the venue, and all of that, exhaust every option for that style. So there are many venues that offer like certain vibes without being the actual thing. You want an airplane theme to your wedding instead of going overboard and renting an aircraft carrier for a day. Maybe just rent a small plane hangar. You can have a plane in the background. You know, instead of finding an old British castle, maybe find just an old style stone building in your area that looks castle-ish, but it's in the States. It's close to home. You want a beachfront instead of going to Dubai, maybe do a small island closer to home, like the Caribbean, where the cost may be cheaper, or, you know, even consider somewhere in the country like Florida or something that at one of the Florida Keys or somewhere you can find a nice beach area that fits what you're looking for as far as the aesthetics, but cost effective. Just keep the cost within your budget. Now, if you're rich or you got somebody who done opened up their pockets and said, hey, I got you, I'm gonna pay for everything, then you know you can throw this whole step out. You can kiss everything I'm saying goodbye because you know, whatever. But for us, me and my wife, we were paying for this out of pocket ourselves. So we had to think about, we didn't want to start our marriage in more debt than we already had. So we wanted to make sure that our wedding was cost effective but still fit all of our needs. So once we decided on the style and venue, we went through every option possible before deciding on like the resort, the place that we are, all of that. Peace, stranger talk. Peace. So we exhausted our options and found what was the most cost effective that still gave us what we were looking for as far as aesthetics and vibe and the feel of the wedding place. So make sure you do that and stay within your budget no matter what. Once you set a basic budget and outline of what you want to spend, and of course, overshoot everything. So if you think the food may cost based off of your estimates and what you found around maybe $2,000, and I'm lowballing here, say it's gonna cost $4,000. Overshoot everything and plan your budget around that. That way, when you're saving up your money for it, that way, when you're doing everything, you are overshooting. That way, the worst thing that can happen is you have exactly what you need, or you end up coming in under budget and you have money left over that you've saved up that can now be a nice little nest egg for y'all to do something nice or whatever the case may be, or handle something that comes up as y'all start that first phase of marriage. But definitely make sure the financial part of your wedding is in order and that you are within budget. Make the budget and then stick to it. Don't add no financial stress to the beginning months and year of your marriage because you decided to ball out for this on things that you may could have saved money on, but you just didn't want to. It may be smart to, go for the great value version of things for your wedding to make sure that you can then afford, the name brands later. So just that part. But again, if you haven't started saving, this is the perfect time to start saving. And again, you're now engaged. It's no time limit on when you have to say I'm married from that time. The main thing is to be using that time to engage, to be preparing for the wedding. So that leads me to the third part of the wedding prep, and that's preparing your heart for the wedding. This is the part that if you hadn't done my first step, which is to heal that trauma, this is the part where you're going to want to get a professional to jump in and start giving you marriage counseling and preparing your two hearts to be merged without an out clause. Up until marriage, y'all have lived easily. You don't have any major or financial or legal ramifications to if you don't want to do this no more, So because of this, now that you are going to have all of these legal and financial ramifications to leaving, go ahead and get your professional help started immediately after proposing. Don't wait till 3 months before you're married, because that's not enough time to really that. You can start to build the tools during that time, but you want a good 6 months to a year to really be working on these things. So by the time you get to marriage day and you're about to say I do, you're going into this new stage as husband and wife with all of the tools you need to start. Because at the beginning of your marriage, it's going to be wonderful, trust me, but it's also going to be a lot of new changes in life, especially if you haven't done these steps that I've talked about already and you haven't been shacking up. There's going to be a lot of new stresses that are going to come that you two want to have tools to be able to communicate, have shared language, have shared understandings around things, so that way as these new stresses happen, y'all can tackle them together instead of tackling each other over these things. So definitely start getting, as soon as she says yes, I will marry you, and you put the ring on her finger, go ahead and start the process. And you take the initiative as a man to go ahead and start this process. Sometimes we wait till the woman to find that, but you go out and find it. For one, it shows initiative, but for two, it allows you to have a say so in who's going to be counseling you. I know a lot of dudes that end up they get turned off to counseling because of marriage counseling. They go to somebody that their wife picked, that was catered to their wife, but they had no say in it. They just showed up, and then because of that, they're grumpy. Well, take the initiative, go find the person, research who's going to be the best person in your area that can give you that would be best for who you and your wife are. If you and your wife are a Christian household, find the best Christian counselor. If you and your wife are atheists, find the best completely coming from a scientific background counselor. But find the counselor that's going to be best for y'all, and you have a say so in it, so you can live with it and be comfortable with the person that y'all are going to be sharing with. And then also, like I said, do it quickly. Don't wait for that 3-month period before you get married when you're already planning your marriage and you already got all of these things, the wedding planner calling every other day and spazzing, and your wife is on edge because she's emotional. You got a bunch of family asking a bunch of questions. Do that stuff soon as she says she will marry you. So that way y'all are planning up and building up this toolkit. So as these things are happening and these stresses are happening and these emotional moments are happening, y'all are together, y'all are on the same page, and y'all are able to fight through them together. Even if y'all have a disagreement, at least y'all have a way to disagree that y'all both agree, that have an understanding on, and that works so that y'all can get to a resolution to the disagreement. Now, I've been saying this whole time, joint counseling, still be doing that. If you have actually taken heed and you've already started that, still be doing that on top of that. There is 2 parts to counseling, especially in relationships. It's you getting your shit together, and then y'all two getting y'all shit together. And sometimes you have to be clearing that shit out with you as you're clearing that shit out with y'all, because sometimes it's the shit with you that's causing the shit with y'all. So be doing both. You got to do the joint counseling part though, because it gives y'all unique tools. Up until this point, you've been getting tools for you that work for you, that give you a coping mechanism. But she don't got that. She doesn't use that. That's not what works for her. So y'all have to come up with something that works for y'all on top of what works for you. That way y'all have a playbook on top of your playbook. And I, again, say do this right after you propose. And then me and my wife did a lot of this. I feel like we've been really good throughout our marriage, and through our relationship, about being okay with professional help. And I feel like because of that, it keeps allowing us to be great. And by the time we said I do, we were actually prepared to be husband and wife instead of fiancés or boyfriend and girlfriend. We were actually prepared for what that would look like because we had kind of sought that guidance the whole time we were engaged to be ready for it. And I feel like it made the beginning of our marriage, literally within a month of us being married, she was pregnant. We were looking to buy a house, and I I had started a new career. All of that happened within literally the first 3 months of us being married. So like, I don't think we would have been able to handle those 3 stresses back to back to back like that. Oh, and then in the 4th month after we got married, I was in a near life-threatening car accident where I got thrown out of the window and yeah, it was horrible. So like, all of those stresses would have probably been way worse and made our beginning of our marriage feel like hell if we hadn't have had done these steps before that, as far as like the therapy and just having that counseling and having that great understanding as far as how to communicate going into that. We would have broke. I ain't gonna lie to you, but because we had that, we were able to get through them. And the first year of our marriage ended up being a beautiful experience, as opposed to one that was just like, that just felt like, and we look back on like, oh, let's erase that. So definitely fix you, but make sure you are started the process to fixing y'all and give y'all that shared language, shared toolkit. If you're scared of professional help, I talked about it on the last live, but it's something that helped me. Love Languages. It's a book. I believe it's also like a movie now, or like a documentary, something like that. But Love Languages, the book, it helps. It gives y'all a start to understanding why you need the professional approach to that therapy, because y'all don't have all the answers. So you want somebody that has more answers than you. But it gives you that good jumping off point to at least start those conversations around communication between y'all, what y'all specific likes, dislikes are, what makes you tick, what makes you feel loved. It just kind of gives you those shared terms and vocabulary to use. So start with that, but then go get you a therapist or a counselor to help y'all. It works. I promise you. It helps. But those are my 5 things that I believe a man should know when he's ready to propose or be engaged. So at this point, I would like to open up the panel and chat for any questions you may have, anything that you disagree with, agree with, or if you want to add or expound upon this convo with your own experience or knowledge. This would be the perfect time to do so. Like, let's go, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And that goes my awkward, 3 times. Well, thank you, Larry. I hope it was good advice, and I hope somebody else is able to use it. Like I said, these are not things that I mastered. It's just things that I have learned through fumbling, bumbling, and stumbling my way to this point. And it's little tools that I've picked up from professional help, from just people who had been married longer than myself that were doing it successfully, that I, respected their word, all of that. So yeah, man. One of my favorite panel members, and another third of the partners, Face Mobby.
What's happening?
Peace, Mike, brother. Peace, my brother. How you, man?
I can't complain, man. Can't complain. I gotta step in when I hear the
Hey, man, because I was about to say, well, guys, go ahead and end it right here. Y'all be good.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. I came in on the latter part of the conversation. Yeah, everybody know I'm at the 9 to 5 right now, but whenever you go live, I'm gonna definitely jump in. I don't know if you mentioned before, but just to add in, if you have not mentioned it, as far as 5 things a young man or older man needs to prepare himself for when he getting married or engaged, just know things will change.
I got you, Black. I got you.
Understand the commitment you're making is a lifelong one. So understand, just as you change and she change, you guys together must change too. There's nothing wrong with change. A lot of us in our lives, we are resistant to change. We hate change. We like the way things are now. But when you're dealing with another person, another human, you have to accept the change, not only that you see in them, the change that they get from you, but also as a unit, you will change for the better, hopefully, if you're doing the things that needs to be done. And with that change, you have to be willing to accept the differences with each other as well. Because the 2 people y'all got together before you get married, that's 2 different people.
Yeah.
Because it's not only a physical transition, a mental transition, a spiritual transition, but also an emotional transition. And whenever you're making so many transitions or any type of transition, a transition is just a change. Be prepared for it. Don't be scared of it. Don't get mad at it because you signed up for it and you're willing to sign up for that change. Another thing is be able to, how can I say it? Of course, work as a team, but be able to support each other and balance off of each other's weak points. Where you're weak at, balance on her. Let her know, baby, like this. I may not be able to do this, or I'm not as knowledgeable in this area. I feel like a lot of times, as far as men, we try to put on the front that, hey, that's my wife. I'm gonna make sure I got everything. I know everything, and fall on your damn face. Please believe. The more open and honest you are with your wife, you're building a more structured bond that she's going to see, well, you're willing to open up to me this much. Let me return that favor. So when she feels inadequate or when she feels down or weak, she'll lean on you and vice versa. So you guys will know that, like, that yin you yang, you're each other's yin and yang. You counterbalance each other, because in a true environment of strength and teamwork, there have to be counterbalances on each other. You can have two great people, but if they don't know how to lean on each other, they're both going to fall apart. So, I mean, you have to build your triangle. As we all know in geometry, the triangle is the strongest shape. You feel me? The strongest shape you ever build. In a marriage, they say it's a trinity. I don't know what nobody's beliefs are, but you have to take three things in your marriage. You have to take you, your wife, and a higher power. Because at the end of the day, on this spiritual plane, we have to focus on something higher that keeps us there. You feel me? We can handle the physical realm, but on that spiritual and emotional realm, we need to depend on somebody else to aid us and guide us through. So get your triangle together, man. If y'all know basketball, that triangle offense, it was killer in the 90s. So, I mean, in a relationship, get your triangle together.
Right. I wanted to, Black Anonymous was speaking to that when you were talking about the balancing off each other. Like, if one person good at finances, maybe, the other, you let that person handle it. Well, he was, Black Anonymous was saying, I suggest that even if one partner is handling the finances, the other partner should be informed of what's happening. Absolutely.
Should never be a part in anything where both
sharing their responsibility doesn't mean that you're excluding the partner. It's more like, so like for me, for our house, like when it comes to like this home repair stuff and all the stuff we've been going through since our house flooded, my wife has asked me to handle that, not because she doesn't want to be involved. She's actually heavily involved still, let her know, hey, this is where we at with this. This is where we at with this contract. If we waiting on this bid, we know. But it's more just she knows I'm more comfortable and more equipped to handle those conversations. So you still keep them involved. Like, she actually is the one that does our household finance. Like, she balances our books because she's better at it. I was and am still, at times working through that. So for me, like, to be handling the finances don't make sense. I've shown that I'm not apt to do so. If I do it, we're gonna all be in the po house. So a lot of the success we have had financially as a couple, it comes from her guidance on that. You know what I mean? And I'm smart enough to know that, so that instead of me putting us in ruin, I'll let her go ahead and lead us in that, so that we can continue to thrive. And we have. So I think it's just when you're sharing that responsibility, is making sure that you still keep that transparency piece of, like, letting them know what you're doing. Like, just because the right hand is scratching the back, that don't mean you can't tell the left hand, hey, I'm over here scratching the back just in case you need, just in case you need me, or this what I'm doing. Just
I feel
that communication, that you gotta always be like, there should not be any secrets in a marriage to me. Like, that should be your best friend to the point where y'all know the dirtiest, darkest, nastiest secrets about each other, and it's okay. Like, that's kind of, to me, the bond you should have with a person that you're saying I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with.
I see people as when
and I'm gonna get to your question, Black Anonymous. I got you. I promise you, I'm gonna answer that. I got you.
in the realm of, like, two people together in a marriage, I see it as, like, basically, I see the people as five senses. Those two people play a part as in the body, five senses. Even though my nose is strong, I need to see what I'm smelling. You feel me? I can speak, but I need to hear. So even though my partner may be
fucked up if I can't see or smell.
You feel me? You feel me? Like, so my partner may be stronger in one asset, but that doesn't mean all the weight of that falls on that person, because that just leads to stress. Sure, take the run, lead the charge, but give me the information so I can back you up and support you and hold you back. You feel me? Hold you down, hold you back. Let me be that thing that's gonna help push you up. You feel me? Like when you getting stressed out with this, that I know that you got better knowledge field than I do, and you more equipped in this and more adapt to this. I know I mean I know what you know, but give me the information so I can help support you. So if the one time that you can't do this, I still got the same information you got, so now I can run with it. Even though we're maybe stronger at each level in each other, we still together. So just in our normal lives, we each one teach one. So in a relationship and in a marriage, each one should definitely be teaching one. You feel me? Like some people may be reluctant to take information from somebody just because of their personality, but you don't need to be told to teach. You can watch and teach. You can watch and learn. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
On my household, like I've said on plenty other content, I feel like I'm an all around person. I can handle whatever needs to be handled, but in order to not supersede my wife on everything, I take a step back and let her show me what she's comfortable with doing. Okay, you got that, boom. I can take a step back. You got that, I can go focus on this. So when it comes to dealing with this big picture stuff or making plans or trips and stuff, that's her realm. I don't make plans. I don't do that. You feel me? I don't even attempt to because it's gonna go wrong if I attempt to. But handling the everyday, day-to-day things, as far as okay, the kids is this, we got these plans and doing that daily run and that ripping and running. That's my expertise. You feel me? I'm gonna get everything you need done in a day. Don't worry about that because I'm gonna get it done. Put that on my shoulders. I'm gonna run these errands. I'm gonna get everything done. We're gonna get the kids, get this everything done. But that trip you want to take 2 months from now, you go ahead and plan that because I ain't gonna be able to do that for you.
Right.
So it's playing to each other's strengths, but at the same time enhancing or lessening each other's weaknesses. You feel me? So we're helping each other, but we also helping each other get strong too.
Indeed. Real quick, I do want to answer Black Anonymous question. I don't want to ignore it. So I knew that the woman I married is the one because, well, it started spiritually. So like the first night, so like me and my wife didn't like each other when we first met. Just straight up and down, we couldn't stand each other. She thought I was a pompous jerk. I thought she was a snobby. Yeah. So we didn't like each other. You feel me? But over time, it was, I don't know, a bunch of random occurrences. But basically, we ended up somehow or another. I had ended up with her number and never called. And then she had a boyfriend at the time. So I let them break up because I was out there. I was out there at this point in my life. So like I wasn't really stressing about no one female period. I was just out there. So once I knew she had a boyfriend, I ain't never called her. I never paid her no mind no more. Like we were just cool. And like I said on the last episode, we met because she came to work at the Waffle House that I was cooking at. So we was just cool. But basically, at some point she broke up with him. She was like, "Why you ain't never called me?" So then she called me and was like, "Well, I want to hang out with you." And then we hung out, and that night we ended up being boyfriend and girlfriend. We've been together ever since. But that night through conversations with her and just like we ended up talking from like maybe 7 o'clock to like 3, 4 in the morning, like legit talking. And at that point, if it's 3, 4 in the morning, it wasn't no talking with me. I was usually, deep into it by then. So for like the fact that she was like that, I wanted to just talk to her and know more about her and like express and like had this long conversation with her the first night. Like it was something in her that was just mad different. Like she made me want to act different off jump. And I don't know why. It was nothing like it was nothing that I can point to specifically and say, oh my God, that was just, but like literally from the first night we hung out, I was like, yeah, like God, it was like God, I believe in God, but whatever you want to call it, the universe, whatever, it told me like, that's going to be your wife. So go ahead and act accordingly. And I literally started from that night, just like treating her like she was my wife. Like the next morning, I was like, hey man, you good? You want to make sure, hey, you got money in your pocket. I want to make sure you straight. You know what I mean? Like, what do you need? And I've been carrying it like that with her ever since. And I think that's what started it. But I knew about maybe a year into us being together. We had already moved to Georgia together at this point. We had been shacking up already, all that good stuff. But there was a moment when we had just finished arguing and she was having a conversation with me about something. I was bullshitting around at that point. I was not doing what I was supposed to be doing as far as like stepping up to be the man like I should have been. And she said something. And I don't remember what it was exactly that she said, but I remember at the end of that conversation, I felt like I want to do this. It wasn't like I was about to like make a change or do something because she was asking. It was like, I want to be there for her. Like, I actually want to do that. And that was when I realized she was the one, because I hadn't had that. I had been engaged twice before her. I had been in, long-term relationships before her. I had tried to do all of this before, but it didn't ever work. You know what I mean? But she was the first one that made me want to change something, and made me want to work on something, made me want to get better. And like, I knew then, like, this is God telling me, like, she's the person that can hold you accountable. And before that, not many people in the world could. Like, I was kind of really bullheaded and did what I want to do and still fall into them pockets to this day. But like, to this day, she's the one person that can, like, hey man, that's enough. And I'll listen. Like, I was still 1 foot in, 1 foot out in the streets when I got with her. And she said, look, this ain't gonna work for me. You can be with me or you can do that. And she was the first girl that I've been with as an adult that I chose to be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't need to do this. I'll be with you. So I think it was just that. Like, it was just, she held me accountable, and she was the first woman that I let hold me accountable. And I don't know, I guess she my soulmate, whatever you want to call it, but it was like divine intervention or some God gave me exactly who I needed when I needed it the most. And yeah. But all of that is how I know that. And to this day, she shows me more reasons every day that, like, yeah, God knew what he was talking about, man. You all bad. I am supposed to be with you forever. So yeah. But it all comes from, again, man, like, I think it comes from that accountability piece that we always talk about, that integrity piece. And that those words are kind of broad, but I like them being broad because it applies to so many things. Like, it applies to you. Like, you have to be self-accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. Like, a lot of my successes with her have come from me quitting the stubborn shit and admitting things about myself that I didn't want to. Admitting that, yes, I am arrogant, and that's a problem. I am condescending. I am argumentative. I am angry. I am petty. I am not the best at communicating in loving ways. Like, I'm a very harsh person. Every bit of success that I've done on changing the things about myself that were holding me back as a person have been the things that made me successful with her. And it's all been because I wanted to do those things, to step up to be the man that I feel matches how I see her. And yeah. And I also feel like I know she the one because she did all that for me. Like, I have demanded a lot of things of her that I don't feel that many women would be cool with or maybe comfortable with accommodating. Like, she deals with a lot of shit that comes with me, and she's cool with it. And everybody wouldn't be. So yeah, man, I think we just like peas and carrots. We go together like peas and carrots. That's all. Love you, baby. But yeah, man, I love answering questions about stuff like this. Like, I don't know. But yeah, man, anybody else got any bills or topics or questions they would like to ask, speak on, or give their own wisdom on? We have any beat selection from the choir? Because if not, I'll go ahead into the benediction and the doors of the church are open.
You know it.
This is the altar call portion. Feel free to come on down and give your life over to Christ. But yeah, man, thank y'all, man, for joining me. Thank y'all.
Go ahead, come on down to the altar, give your subscription over to the Podnas.
Right. Come on down and subscribe. Hit that like button on your way down. But if y'all would like to add your own wisdom, and you may not be thinking of it right now, or this just may not be the format you want to share it in, feel free to throw it in the comments. Because at the end of the day, like, the goal for this ain't necessarily like views. The goal for this is really to hopefully help some guy out there that looks like me in these stages of relationships to not be as fumbling around and out of sorts as I was. And to not have to hit a lot of the pitfalls that I had to go through in order to learn these lessons as well. So, I'm a firm believer of, if you can save somebody from making their own mistake by teaching them yours, then do so. So I saw earlier. I think it was who was it? I don't want to say the wrong person. Oh yeah, beautiful Bernice said she gonna share it with her sons. Like that's the type of thing I'm talking about. Like share it with people who it may be helpful for, or who they may know. Like, hey, my best friend is struggling. I need some. Let this be a jumping off point. Maybe it'll help them find the real answers that they seek. But hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully it's edified someone else's thoughts that they were having. And yeah, man, thank y'all for joining me. Thank Face for making this a true Podnas experience instead of just Tiz's experience. I really appreciate that. Put that book out. Last call. I am not gonna write a book. My wife is actually the writer. I'm actually a decent writer, but it's not my calling in life, and I don't have the passion for it, and I wouldn't want to do it a disservice. But I will say, what I would love to do as far as a book, I would love to get a collection of all of the personal wisdom I've learned, something like this, and maybe do that. But I would have to make sure I find cite all of the sources and stuff, because I wouldn't want nobody thinking that this is something that I know. This is stuff that I've learned. So, but yeah, if you know somebody that can help me do that, man, let's make it happen. But it's a sincere lesson, indeed, man. This is, I really believe in Black love. I believe in love in general. And since my wife has started to teach me to emote, hey, Black, you can be my writer, man. That'll work. That'll work. Let's get that popping. Now we talking. I'm all about building, and let's do something. Hey, you can be the person that maybe write my relationship memoirs and and put it in a format that would actually be digestible to other people. So yes, we can definitely build on that. I'm down with that. But yeah, man. Hope I've helped. Hope I've said something good here. Hope Face has said something good here and he's helped you. Hope we've been able to, by sharing our experience, we've been able to help somebody else. And man, we just love y'all. And we should be going live Sunday, 9:30 p.m. You didn't ask us, but our weekly live show where we discuss all the topics. These shotgun lives during the week, and our podcast is kind of where we tackle more of the serious stuff. Although if you were with me yesterday, our podcast can go off the rails too, but where we kind of tackle more serious conversations. But you never know what the hell we're gonna get on our weekly show. So please join us there. If you've liked anything we've said today, come on through and get the sillier side of us. Like I said, comment, share, subscribe. If you do feel like you want to support us and continue to support the content financially, you can see that at the bottom. But comment, share, subscribe. It's free and it's the quickest way you can help us. And it's probably going to be the biggest long-term way you can help us. So please, please, please make sure you comment, share, and subscribe, please. But yeah, man, I can definitely keep your identity a secret, man. We'll find you one of them what do you call it, pseudonyms, them pen names. We'll find your Mark Twain, and we'll keep it like that, man. I got you. We won't even, we'll make it even a gender ambiguous name like Danny or something, so they wouldn't even keep it completely. Now I got you. And Sexy Star Peace Queen. Hope you and the little one are doing well. You're never late. You're always on time because you showed up, and you didn't have to do that. So thank you and welcome. You already got one. Oh hell, we good. Let's rock. Say less. And I think you think I'm joking. I would definitely do it, especially if I got a person like you that actually knows how to write. Oh yeah, we can rock that. I'll drain my brain of all of the tidbits I've learned over the years from grandpa and uncles and the OGs in the neighborhood, and listening to my therapist and my counselor. Yeah, we can rock it. But yeah, man, y'all know I don't like to hold y'all all day. I'm not gonna be before you long. But yeah, I ain't really with we're gonna just babble on, or I'm gonna have these long pauses. So I think I don't really have much else to say unless y'all got some. As always, I'm gonna give it a second. Or unless Face got some. Face, do you have anything you want to say?
Listen.
Right on, Black.
Hear them out. And be able to communicate clearly back and forth. Listening and hearing is two different things. That's why I said both of them. Be able to be patient enough to hear someone out on either side, man or woman. Be able to be able to have the skills enough to listen clearly so you can receive the message. And then be willing to communicate to each other back and forth what you have communicated. Sometimes we think we're receiving the message, but if we don't communicate what we think we receive back to that person, what we're thinking in our head may be the wrong thing, and we go forth with the wrong message.
Boy,
so always remember,
my wife don't tell me that on a weekly basis. Amen.
So please remember, first, hear. Have that patience to take the time to hear that person out. Secondly, listen so you can receive the message they're given. Third, communicate at the end of every conversation so you can make sure both parties are leaving each conversation with the direct and correct message from each other. Because at the moment that both parties leave the conversation, one is thinking one thing and the other ain't thinking nowhere near what the other person's thinking. That's a catalyst for disaster.
And I'm gonna give y'all a real world example because this happens to me a lot. Fellas, have y'all ever had your wife come to you or your girlfriend or something, they come tell you, hey, I want you to clean out the garage today. And you be like, all right, I got you. And then, it's maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They told you this at like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You chilling, you playing the game, you working, you doing whatever you doing. And they come to you, but I thought I asked you to clean the garage. Yeah, you did. You said today. In their mind, they meant right then, but in your mind, you heard today, so that's what you went with. And now y'all are in a weird disagreement because she feels unappreciated or like you didn't listen. But really, y'all heard the same thing. It's just y'all didn't communicate the shared understanding. And that's a vocabulary word for my wife. Shared understanding. Make sure in all conversations, even the little ones sometimes, if it involves an action step, meaning something that you or her need to do, make sure y'all have a shared understanding of that action step so that it gets done correctly. Because, boy, you don't want to do the right thing that you heard, but it's the wrong thing to what she was saying. Oh, boy.
Now, to double down on that, men especially, get out of your stubbornness and get out of, I do it when I get ready to. I do it in my own time. Ain't got to be in your time as long as I'm doing it. No, because you want a successful communication. You want success in your marriage. You want success in relationship. So stop getting caught up on shit I do when I do it and just do it then. If she says, baby, can you do this today? Yeah, boo, do you mind if I do this and this real quick, then I can get to it? Okay, boo, that's fine. Have that communication so you don't have a pinpoint of when this needs to be done. Because if I'm waiting till 11:55 and do it, and I'm like, well, you said today, the day ain't over yet. You never know. She may want it done early in the day because she had an additional plan after that, but she didn't want to tell you that additional plan too until this one was done.
Yeah.
So shared understanding, getting out your own way, and once again, the 3 basics of communication from Face: having the patience to take the time to hear someone out, listening so you can receive the message, and then communicating back and forth so you can make sure both of you are leaving this conversation with the exact correct understanding of each other.
Exactly.
You gotta remember, everybody don't talk the same way. And nowadays, everybody don't use the exact same words to mean what they should mean. So communication.
Words have meanings. They have no meanings now. So make sure you understand what they mean in today's society too, because that be throwing me sometimes.
Because I remember I asked somebody what they meant by origin, and they didn't tell me nothing in the dictionary that meant origin. I was like, well, that's not what origin means, but that's what it means to me. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of self-definitions on it. But you gotta understand somebody's self-definition. Because I would tell you, you will be surprised that we have our own self-definition to some terms or thoughts or ideas too. And you don't realize it until you start like looking into it. But like, make sure if you have something that's kind of like, well, this is what I mean by this, make sure that she know that so that she can follow up and follow through in a way that you were expecting. Can I add one more? While we here, while I got the congregation here. Do not, I repeat, do not. No doubt. Peace, Larry. Thank you for coming through, man. Always a pleasure to have you.
Peace.
Dang it, what was I? It was based off of that because you were saying the shared understanding and then the pain and the stubbornness. God, old man moment. It gone.
Told you,
It gone.
old.
Grand opening, grand closing. It was a good one too because I could tell because I was getting excited and then it just gone.
Told you
It just
your
gone.
ass is old.
It just gone. Hey, but you're the oldest. So as long as that remains a fact, I will be just fine with my position in life. It's all good.
That's a secret.
No, it ain't.
Shit.
No, it ain't. I'm gonna scream that shit from the highest mountain every time. No, hey y'all, that's the older brother. Not I said the Dutch. But no, peace, Black. You go ahead and handle business, man. We're gonna build later on that book, man. But yeah, man. Dang, man, I wanted to get it back. I want to get it back. Hey, it's gone. Nope, it's gone. It's gone. Oh, it's gone. Like a blonde hairline, it is gone.
Gone in the wind.
Yeah, it's gone. Oh, you about to go live? Oh, hey, man, I got you. I will be definitely on over that way then when we done. I got you. Everybody, when we leave here, go to Larry, man. She be having them dope lives, and it's like super comforting. It just feels like you're at home. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. Yeah, the age is showing, bro. Hey, man, I'm a proud 37-year-old. I don't make no qualms about it. My glory days are over. I live vicariously through the kids that I coach and through the sports that I watch on TV. I know it's a wrap for me, man. I'm over the hill now. You know, I'm over here just
You're
kicking.
old head.
Yeah, I'm an OG now, man. Like,
Old head.
I don't know if it
You
made it
somebody,
into the episode.
they call you Unc.
Yeah, like at work, I knew it was a wrap for me, man. When the 20-some-year-old came to work one day, it was like, yeah, it was good, OG. I was like, oh, I'm the OG now. Oh.
I knew it was a wrap when somebody who looked older than me called me sir. I was like, damn.
Oof.
Now I know I don't look older than you, but damn, am I older than you? It's like, yeah, I ain't number 20. So, oh shit, yeah, I'm a sir.
I am a sir now. Oh, and you know what the funny part about it is? I got a junior, so my son can literally say, "No, I'm not a sir. That's my dad." That's when you know it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But yeah, man. Always a good time building with y'all, man. Again, I hope this was helpful to somebody. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Please continue to keep rocking with us because we rock with y'all. And be prepared on Sunday for the fuckery. Should be fun. I have no idea
Disclaimer.
What's gonna be coming up, but face. So
Disclaimer warning. Disclaimer warning.
We got the face disclaimer ready. So ain't no telling what we about to get this week. And I've seen Padawan collecting his stuff in the archives in the Podnas DM, yeah. So I can see them Jones building up. So I don't know what he coming with, but I know it's gonna be some shit. So yeah, man. If you like the videos at the beginning of the video that you saw, the clips come on through. It's more of that silly stuff. So we love y'all. As always, I'm 1/3 of the Podnas. Your boy Tiz, and I'm along with dramatic pause.
Face in place, as always. Pat ain't here, but I'm gonna speak for Pat. Indeed. Thank y'all for coming in.
Indeed. Now, in the immortal words of you know what? I ain't gonna even say that. Never bad. Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. Love y'all, man. Y'all be good. I see y'all Sunday.